What is mountaintop removal and MTVF? MTVF stands for mountaintop mining with valley fill operations. It's a recently developed coal mining strategy that involves the use of explosives to expose seams of coal and the relocation of excess rock or overburden to neighboring valleys. This relatively new type of mining is regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency and the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as the Environmental and Natural Resources Departments of state governments. Major federal legislation that is involved in the regulation of MTVF includes the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act and the Clean Water Act.
MTF causes complete or partial burial of low-order streams as products of mining make their way into the valleys, resulting in a change in water chemistry. The habitat of many animals are being negatively impacted by this. These changes in the environment are sudden, and the ecosystem does not know how to react to these changes. Some ecosystems that are affected are invertebrates, including aquatic insects. Some vertebrates that are being impacted are salamanders and many different types of birds, turtles, bats, and snakes. And then fish populations are also being affected. And then these ecosystems are being affected because of the change in water chemistry is killing aquatic species, and it is altering how the ecosystem works as a whole. An increase in ion concentrations, altered pH, and higher levels of sedimentary are the main reasons why these impacts are occurring. MTF.
Seen on the slide, there are many local environmental impacts of mountaintop removal and MTVF, but I'll be going over just a few of these today. Starting out with lost streams, this is the most evident impact of MTVF on an aquatic ecosystem. These are stream segments that are buried beneath valley fills, mined, or converted into waste treatment systems in the form of ponds. MTVF leads to a net loss of stream habitat and ecosystem function in the watersheds which it occurs. Next is lost soils. This is one of the most severe and long-lasting consequences of surface mining and causes permanent loss and homogenization of the forest soils. A large volume of soil will be lost via erosion, burial with overburden, and oxidation by solid microbes. In addition to this, micro and macronutrients are also lost. This diagram from the article shows all the factors that specifically contribute to the biological importance of headwater streams and river networks. The arrows pointing downward on the left side show the exports downstream and the biological contributions of headwater ecosystems to riparian downstream ecosystems. On the right, the arrows can be seen pointing up and outwards from the base to the terms that represent migrants coming from downstream and what benefits these species unique to headwaters. This also makes headwaters essential seasonal habitats for migrants from downstream.
Some of the more far-reaching environmental impacts of MTVF include impacts on regional aquatic systems and regional landscapes. Some examples of the impacts on aquatics in the region include an increased amount of dissolved matter from alkaline mine drainage, which alters the environment in which many organisms live, and elevated water conductivity in streams beneath valley fills. Specifically, water in affected streams has been found to be anywhere from 2 to 10 times more conductive than water in unmined streams. An example of a landscape impact is the loss of over 5,600 square kilometers of forest due to MTVF coal mining.
Some steps being taken to mitigate MTF are educating the public, advocating for new policies, including the Environmental Justice for All Act and OSMR Policy Reform Act. And then also, there's a proposal to ban new mining on public lands. There are many limitations on these mitigations. There are limitations on the failure to address ecosystem functions, as creating or restoring streams does not fully restore the complexity of the ecosystem and how it functions. There are also limitations on stream creation versus stream restoration, as it is beneficial to create new streams, but effort should be focused on restoring streams to normal elemental compounds, including the pH balance. And finally, the structure and function are not equivalent because the structure in the stream may not function the same ever again. Some steps.
So in conclusion,
Mountaintop valley fill is a process used for coal mining, which negatively impacts the environment. These impacts are seen in the loss of biodiversity, pollution in rivers and water streams, and overall habitat destruction. However, we have seen that there are acts and policy reforms being put in place, and these acts and reforms will educate our community about the losses we've seen, and it will also mitigate the impact of mountaintop valley fill. So what can we do as a community to improve the current deficiencies? First and foremost, stricter policies such as the Environmental Justice for All Act and the OSMRE policy reform mentioned previously can be enacted, as well as the EIA assessments and enforcing strict soil and water management to ensure new plants have what they need to grow during the reclamation process. Native plants can be planted to restore biodiversity, and educating the overall community will help as well. Lastly, investing in research and new technological advancements can help speed up the process, and that will be the biggest of help.